Nitrogen and oxygen molecules scatter shorter blue wavelengths, giving us that iconic blue sky. But on Mars, the fine dust is so pervasive that it scatters longer red wavelengths, especially during the day. That's why, if you stood on the surface, the sky would usually appear pale orange or pinkish beige. Not red like blood, but not quite golden either. But wait, if that's true, why do so many photos from Mars show a bright blue sky? Because NASA sometimes uses a technique called white balancing. It's like adjusting the lighting in a photograph to make the colors of rocks and soil appear as they would under Earth-like conditions. Geologists on the mission teams use this to better understand mineral compositions, contrast, and surface textures. So when you see a vivid blue Martian sky in some images, it's not fake. It's processed to bring out details in the landscape that would otherwise be hidden in red haze. Think of it like this. One version shows you how Mars really looks. The other shows you how Mars would look if it stood under Earth's sunlight. Both are valuable, both are real. They're just different perspectives. But this also reveals something else. Mars isn't just one fixed shade. Its sky can shift, depending on the time of day, the season, and even the amount of dust in the air. During dust storms, the light dims to a deep sepia. At sunrise or sunset, the sky glows blue near the sun, the opposite of what we see on Earth. And all of this has been captured by the silent, unblinking eyes of rovers standing still on a planet that's constantly in motion. But the most emotional part of this story isn't just what the rovers saw, it's what they became, and how two of them made their mark on Mars before fading into its dust. Every great story has its pioneers, and on Mars, they were called Spirit and Opportunity. They weren't the first machines to land on the red planet, but they were the first to truly explore it. Launched by NASA in the summer of 2003, these twin robotic geologists were part of a daring plan to land on opposite sides of an alien world and search for evidence of ancient water. Each was built for one mission: to survive 90 Martian days, called sols, and travel no more than a kilometer. But what happened next defied expectations and captured imaginations. Let's begin with Spirit. She landed in Gusev Crater, a place scientists believed might have once held a lake. At first, the terrain looked bleak: fields of basalt, wind-blown dust, and scattered rock. But Spirit pushed forward, eventually climbing the Columbia Hills, revealing clues of hydrothermal activity, mineral veins, and the signature of once liquid water. Spirit wasn't fast, she wasn't flashy, but she was determined. She battled extreme temperatures, dust storms, and mechanical failures. She lost the use of one wheel, and still kept going by driving in reverse. And then, in 2009, after nearly 6 Earth years, she became trapped. Her wheels sunk deep into soft Martian soil. Attempts to free her failed. NASA turned her into a stationary science platform. She kept working until her final signal faded into silence. Her last words were data. Her final act, science. And now, Opportunity. She landed on the other side of Mars in Meridiani Planum, a vast flat plain filled with hematite blueberries, tiny mineral spheres that form in the presence of water. Within weeks, she found what she was sent to discover: definitive evidence that water once existed on Mars. But she didn't stop there. Opportunity kept moving. She crossed craters the size of stadiums. She survived multiple Martian winters. She climbed the rim of Endeavour Crater and explored its ancient rocks. Her journey covered more than 45 kilometers, a world record for off-Earth driving. But it wasn't just the science. people around the world began to feel something strange, an emotional connection to a robot millions of miles away. Maybe it was her resilience. Maybe it was how she kept going long after her mission ended. Maybe it was because she represented us, our curiosity, our stubbornness, our hope. And then, in June 2018, everything changed. A planet-wide dust storm, the worst in decades, wrapped Mars in a choking, sunless shroud. Opportunity's solar panels went dark, her batteries drained, and for months, she slept. NASA called, again and again. Over 1,000 commands were sent, but the silence was permanent. Finally, on February 13, 2019, NASA said goodbye. Her final transmission wasn't poetic, it was telemetry, but the team interpreted it in human terms. My battery is low, and it's getting dark. And just like that, one of the greatest explorers in history was gone. No fanfare, no funeral, just Martian wind and the whisper of dust over tire tracks. But her legacy? In every rover that came after, Curiosity, Perseverance, Ingenuity, there's a spark of spirit, a glimmer of opportunity. They taught us that even on a lifeless world, a machine could inspire emotion, loyalty, even grief. They weren't just tools, they were storytellers. And the stories they started are still being written. Just when it seemed like Mars had told us all it could from the ground, a new kind of explorer arrived. Small, experimental, and with wings. Her name was Ingenuity. Part of NASA's Perseverance mission, launched in July and landed on February 18, 2021, this tiny helicopter, no bigger than a backpack, carried a bold idea. Could we fly on another planet? Think about that. Mars has only 1% the atmospheric pressure of Earth. That's like flying a drone at an altitude of 30,000 meters. No bird flies that high. No helicopter has ever done it. But Ingenuity did. Her blades spin at 2,400 revolutions per minute, about 5 times faster than most Earth-based helicopters, just to generate enough lift in the thin Martian air. She weighs just 1.8 kilograms, yet her flight represents one of the biggest leaps in space exploration since the moon landing. Originally designed for 5 short flights, Ingenuity exceeded every expectation. She soared over alien dunes, scouted for danger, mapped paths ahead for Perseverance, and made history. She became the first human-made aircraft to fly on another world. But Ingenuity wasn't just a technical demonstration, she was a pathfinder. Her success proved something critical. Future Mars missions could include aerial scouts, capable of accessing areas that rovers never could. Steep cliffs, deep craters, collapsed lava tubes, even potential habitats. And while Perseverance continues her mission, searching for signs of ancient microbial life, collecting core samples, and preparing them for a future return to Earth, Ingenuity flies beside her like a companion, like a pioneer. Their mission is no longer just about Mars' past. It's about the future we might have there. But let's not forget, this leap into the sky was made possible by everything that came before, by Opportunity's wheels, by Curiosity's drills, by Spirit's quiet strength. Each rover built a piece of the path, until finally, someone dared to lift off from the Martian ground and enter its skies. And now we ask, if we can fly on Mars, what else is possible? Aerial networks across planets? Swarm drones to explore Venus? Hovering robots on Titan? The future of space exploration might not just be on foot or wheel. It could be airborne. And it all started with a tiny helicopter that had no business succeeding, but it did. As you sit here on Earth Watching these ultra-high resolution images scroll across your screen, ask yourself one simple question. Did you ever imagine Mars could look like this? Not a blurry red dot in a telescope, not like a CGI rendering, but like a real place, dusty, distant, and alive with detail. These are not animations. These are real images, captured by machines we built, machines we launched across millions of kilometers, machines that landed and lived on another planet. You're not just watching a video, you're witnessing the surface of Mars through the eyes of explorers that never came home. And the truth is, we've only scratched the surface. Mars still holds its secrets, buried beneath dust, locked in rock, whispered in the winds that howl through empty canyons. Somewhere out there, the story of ancient water is still being written. Somewhere, the clue to life's beginnings may be waiting. And every image we bring back is another step toward answering a question older than civilization. Are we alone? Or are we just early? The beauty of Mars is not just in its red deserts or towering cliffs. It's in the fact that we're finally beginning to understand them. And if this blew your mind, wait until you see what's next. There's another journey waiting for you right now that will take your curiosity even further. One that might just change how you see the universe and your place in it. Tap into the unknown. Click into wonder. I'll see you in the next one.